Right, welcome back. This is the Mindful Men podcast, where once again we challenge every thought that we've got so you can forget most things that you know. I like to say everything, but he doesn't like it when I say everything. But forget most things so that you can learn new things and essentially become a better person. So without further ado, my name is Hez, voice of the streets of the professionals, and I got my esteemed professional onto my left, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yes. Hello everyone.
Qualified and soon accredited.
Hopefully, a few months wait, but you know, it's on the list.
Mr. A2B therapy himself.
Yes, welcome back people, thank you very much. Stay tuned with us. This is our third pod,
Yes. Episode number three. I mean, the fact that you guys are still here and you know you're still waiting for episodes to drop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're clearly doing the right thing. So, you know what I mean? Just stay with us. We'll try and keep the conversation where it needs to be so that you guys can get what you need from it. So, now this is where our lovely engineer is going to absolutely hate me because I've given her no warning whatsoever. I never do. This is a theme now. But today, right, we're going to try and peel back some of the layers of the whole dating situation. Now, we ain't trying to have the same conversation that everybody else is having. Mm-hmm. That's the theme that we have here at Mindful Men. What we want to try and do is that we want to try and kind of myth bust a lot of these things that people are having those same old conversations about. Case in point, who pays for dates? All that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. We want to try and say, you know what? Maybe there's a little more that goes into that. And maybe, right, we need to kind of be the voice of reason for the people that actually live normal lives and don't live through the lens of people in social media.
Yeah, a bit of realism behind it, because social media will have you thinking that either everyone's rich or everyone's broke, and there is no in between.
No in between. So now this is where she's going to get a bit mad at me. Every week I challenge our engineer, right? Poetic Sparkles herself, shout her out. She's got an Instagram, amazing poetry. She maintains that it's not planned and it's not like any form of written poetry or haikus. It's all off the top. I don't believe it for a second. I think she's got a pen of gold, but she'll never ever admit that. However, as the resident woman in our vicinity, she has the green light to pop in and interject at any point if A, we say something out of pocket, or B, she could add some value to. Now, she might not. She didn't last week, well, she didn't last time, and she didn't the time before.
She's smiling though, so I think that's a green light.
So Sparkles, whenever you feel the spirit, say your piece, jump in. Be candid. However, having that conversation and dialogue with somebody that, you know, potentially has faced some of these challenges and hates the regular conversation that's out there, you know, the word of a woman is always welcome on this show, even though we are the Mindful Men. So before we get into that, a bit of housekeeping. Bedders.
Ooh, not that.
See, we're not above a blooper. We ain't gonna cut that out either. We're gonna keep that in the show. Why not? But yeah, Bedders, man. How's everything been? What's been going on in your world?
Work's been stressful, as you can imagine. But I've had I've done a different podcast, you know, that's been in the works for a while now. And I've been asked to do another 2 podcasts on mental health, you know, so people are reaching out and watching and seeing some of the stuff that's being put out there. So, you know, it's been really nice to be asked and do this. And obviously we're still on the radio, which is going really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, life is pretty normal.
Life,
you know, I wish I didn't have to pay as much bills as I do. I wish I didn't have to get up as early as I do. I wish I didn't have to do a lot of stuff, but that's just part and parcel of life. But
it's facts.
We're here, and it's I'm okay.
Yeah, good.
And a genuine okay, not just a...
I'm saying it to say
I'm
it.
saying it to say it, just to move it off.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, a little bit of the same. It's been real frantic in the old 9 to 5. Just everything's fast paced at the minute. You know how it is. I've got children, so the stuff that he's talking about paying bills, like I've got this whole thing where every single time I dip into my pocket, it's £30 guaranteed. Nah, that could be, I'm just gonna go to the shop and get like some milk from the shop. Next thing you know, phone rings. Yeah, Dad, can I have this? Or can you please pick this up, babe? Okay. By the time I ring it up, guaranteed it's gonna be £30. I go on Amazon. I want to buy something that I need, like I don't know, face cream or something. Oh yeah, Dad. We've not got the complete set for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was a Turtles fan, so I can't let my boys not have Turtles. So then the Turtles go in the basket. Next thing you know, £30 plus. Like, you know what I mean? These things happen. I should be stronger. I'm not. It is what it is. I'm accountable for that. That's my mindful moment. I am accountable that I am a shopaholic for my children. It's ridiculous. But yeah, like you said, life's lifing. Like, it's busy. It's very busy. And let's put it this way. After this recording, the big piece of sleep I'm about to drop, it's going to be amazing because I need it. But nah. But yeah, we'll get to it though. So, the whole dating scene. Nah. Let's kind of put you on the spot a little bit, right? And I don't mean in a bad way, because out of the both of us, you're the eligible bachelor. I'm not so much.
I don't mean you don't date though. You and the wife surely go out on dates.
Yeah,
but it's different.
It's different. Yeah. It's different. So, truthfully, from your perspective, as someone that's a little bit more open to life's possibilities, what would you summarize the dating experience to kind of be? I told you I'm putting you on the spot here.
So that was my answer. That it's tough out here.
Yeah,
it's not easy, especially when you put in your wants, and a lot of people may not even be able to hit all your wants. You might not get that, especially the older you become. You know, every day, unfortunately, we're getting older. So, like, you have to be realistic. So I know all my wants, unfortunately, or all my boxes may not get ticked.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I have to be mindful of the other side of that. I might not tick all the other person's boxes.
Yeah.
But I'm very much open to knowing that's the fact. I know I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I may be perfect at certain things or perfect for somebody out there, which is my hope. But then you have to fight with that person who thinks you're perfect. You might not think they're perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, I guess now more than ever, like, finding somebody in general is difficult. Like, I remember like when we were like kids or younger or whatever, and like you go out, you go to Victoria Centre, shopping centre by the way. You go around, you see someone you like, you talk to them. If it's a yes, it's a yes. If it's a no, it's a no. You go about your business, and then that's it. You go carnival, you're with your boys, collecting numbers. like you're going around and you're hollering at girls, catching a wine, collecting numbers. Like, it feels like the experience then is way easier than the experience now, but I don't know why that is.
I think now compared to them is that you have more options. And I don't mean options in terms of the opposite sex. I mean in terms of how you approach other people now.
Yeah.
Social media has driven that up tenfold. Pause. And this has now become, it's given people the opportunity. Even if, Instagram for instance, Instagram isn't a dating site.
But people use it
But
like
people use it like that. And people will jump in DMs and they will shoot their shot, say some wild stuff, and the other person may not even read it, because the DMs are full. I don't know how people's privacy settings are, whether they're friends or whatever. You may not even read that message.
Yeah.
But that opportunity is there for a lot of people, whereas before you had no choice but to go make that interaction face to face.
Yeah, yeah. Cutting back to what you said about options, right? Is this the Netflix complex, right? Now I'm going to explain that to you. The Netflix complex is when you have too much choice. So sometimes when you're on Netflix or you're bored, you don't know what to watch, whatever, and then you put on Netflix and you start scrolling through the top 10. You don't like anything in the top 10. You scroll down to your recommendations, ain't nothing in there, and you keep going. You're like, oh, I might want to watch that, but then you look down a little bit further and there's something that looks good. And by the next time you look in, whole hour's passed and you're still scrolling. Has all that choice kind of made you think that even in the selection stage or when you locate someone that you might potentially want to talk to, has that much choice kind of made it almost impossible to even find somebody to just talk to because you're kind of window shopping at a very high clip?
Do you know what? I feel it depends on the person. Because obviously, some people have more options than others.
True. Some
people have an array of options, choices, flicking through. Some people don't have that.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what element and aspect of the person we're talking about. Now, if you've got money as a man, I feel that you have more options generally than somebody who doesn't. I watched something the other day where they were saying that men who are broke shouldn't date. And I know that a lot of people genuinely feel like that.
Yeah.
I know I have in my past thought that, where if I can't afford to do something, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And that obviously affects how you move forward. In your mindset, my mindset was, I can't really afford to date, you know. So that means I've got to take a sacrifice. I've got to make that sacrifice. But then it's like, that cuts down your options again. That narrows it down because not everybody is interested in you for your money.
Yeah.
But obviously you've got to get to a mindset where you can talk through that. At that stage when I was like that, I couldn't see outside of that.
Okay. I'm glad that you went there. Money. Something that has been kind of like the driving force of a conversation when it comes to dating. Because I, like you, if anybody ever asked me the same thing about, oh yeah, well, like, you know, should someone be dating when they haven't got any money? For me, the whole no money thing isn't about you being broke or not earning millions or anything like that. It's more about, have you got your affairs in order to actually be considering dating?
Yes.
Like, not, oh yeah, I've got money to fling here and I've got money to get your shoes, bags, or buy your dinner. It's actually, am I looking after myself enough to even be in a position to share my life and to kind of share the things that I'm going through with somebody else? Because if I'm not, then really I don't need to be in this situation dating, because I'm then almost forcing my baggage and some of my unhealed mannerisms, my negative attitude to certain things, my closed off mindset on somebody else who could be kind of making the most of her time doing more fun things, or, you know what I mean, getting to know somebody who actually knows more about themselves and is able to look after themselves so that therefore they can enjoy more things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm only just talking on myself there.
Yeah.
You know, that's not for everybody. Some people can make it work. I feel now I'm in a much better position because I know myself now. I know what I bring to the table, regardless of whether I've got money at the moment or whether I'm broke. I know I've got more about me. My character says a lot more than just my wallet.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day my wallet says says just as much. But, you know, the content of my character, I like to think will carry me forward a lot more than just having money. And And it's not just, obviously it's not just about money in terms of for dating. You and yourself have to be in that right place, because you said something quite interesting. It's that if your mind isn't right for dating, how dare you feel it's right to bring somebody else in to that? Because all you're going to do is bring them into your turmoil, bring them into your trauma, and then they're going to become traumatized, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which is the importance of almost preparing you for the activity of dating.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I've kind of noticed is that, and this is more for people that have probably been in relationships before, right? They don't tend to take the necessary time to really recover from their breakups or to heal from their breakups, learn something from what's happened in their past relationship, so that therefore they can go into their new relationship or enter the courting phase and start, applying a new mindset and a more awake mindset into dating. So like they rush into things,
100%.
They're trying to use the next person to kind of get over the old person, or they take over some of, their bad habits from one relationship because they haven't taken any accountability for anything, and then put that into the other things. So like with that, do you kind of pay any mind to stuff like that when you're kind of looking? Because I can imagine that's a hard thing to try and understand from somebody off the meetup.
Yeah, you have to know about yourself first and foremost, and be willing to look into parts of yourself that it's not going to be fun, because right now you're actually critiquing the negative sides of yourself. Because obviously when you meet somebody, everybody wants to put their best foot forward. Nobody wants to go into something new with all their trauma and say, there you go, I'm not in a great place right now.
Yeah.
If you're not in a great place to meet somebody, then there is no point somebody good coming into your life, because all you're going to do is pass on your negativity, because you may not appreciate the good what they're actually bringing, which is a massive standpoint. You have to be able to realize that somebody is bringing in a lot of positivity into your world. And if you're not ready for that, it takes a lot of reflection on yourself to be able to look at yourself and be like, you know what, I'm actually not ready. And the downside to that is that good person may not stick around. They're not entitled. Yeah. You're not entitled for them to stick around. There is no guarantee that this person is going to be there when you are ready. And I feel a lot of people will take that risk and jump into something when they're not ready, because that person may not be around in a few years' time. I know in myself, I've let good people, good opportunities pass me by because I wasn't ready. Whether that's right or wrong, obviously when I sit back and think about certain situations in my life, could I have made a different decision? Maybe. Yeah. But sitting here as a single man and not being ready, I feel now I'm the most readiest I've ever been. But in terms of the pool, let's say, the pool gets smaller every day, especially when you add in your wants and then you add in the other person's wants, and before you know it, the pool is... It's not a pool, and it's a splash.
It's a splash, yeah, that's true, that's true.
It's tough out here.
Yeah.
Dating isn't easy when you're bringing your bag of trauma, your bag of baggage, everything with you.
Yeah. And
are you being honest with people about that? I don't know if people are being as honest as they should be, or who am I to say they should be, But, it's an age-old thing. It is an age-old thing where people, especially in the dating situation, they almost treat it like a job interview. Yeah. Like, you go in there and you're literally showing what you believe to be the best side of yourself, which is only one part of your entire personality. So then when you're doing all that, you're then creating almost a picture of what that person on the other end is kind of trying to weigh you up as. So then if they get used to that without seeing any other sides of you,
then it gets tough after that. Like they could see you get mad at anything. You could stub your toe and scream and get mad and fling something, and then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know you were like that. And then it's like, I don't even know if I want to be here anymore.
And that's even taken into account if you've actually met the person, because a lot of people the online stuff and really get into situationships or with somebody they've not officially met. So, being online, you can just be your best however often you talk. 24/7, you can be your best. Nobody's really posting their losses. And obviously, as a man in this day, you are told that you shouldn't be putting up your losses. You have to be, top all the time.
Yeah.
And, it's difficult when, I feel it's okay to show your vulnerabilities and emotional side. But in the dating world, should you do that straight away? Probably not. Because people will have an opinion on it and make a snap judgment of it if it's too soon. You have to really get to know somebody before you show them that vulnerable side, because in the selection process, there may be somebody who is perceived to be more alpha than you.
Okay, now we're talking. Because, and this is the thing about, and this I'm looking at her and she can see that I'm looking at her, right? I might even fire a question over to her, right? But the whole kind of alpha premise, right? And also how that works when people are trying to, show their vulnerability and they're trying to ask for it. One thing that we hear a lot of women say in dating situations, in and out of social media is, I would like a man that I can communicate with, someone who communicates not only their wants and their needs to me, but also is able to communicate their feelings in a way that lets me know that I am a real person and I'm valid, right? But like you said, if someone's got that I'm an alpha mindset and they equate, vulnerability to feelings and feelings to weakness, and then you don't get that, and then you get certain women that will turn around and, they'll hear from a man and they'll literally tell them, this is what I felt today, this is how I dealt with that, and they'll be like, it's a bit too soft for me, but do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I think that men especially, they know how to be alpha when they want to be alpha.
Okay.
And I think sometimes when they are with their women, that's not the right time for you to want to be alpha. Okay. And so having that understanding your woman to the point where you know that she's soft, you know that she requires you to be affectionate. You don't need to be alpha with her. You don't need to prove anything with her. So it's fine when you're out and about. Yeah. And, you're trying to stand your ground and be a man. But in the house, you can be soft. That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
No, but now this is why that was important, because I don't think a lot of men understand the difference. So when obviously we hear from women, I just need a man to know that he can talk to me about this stuff. I don't need him to be tough all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean when we're outside, I want you to be, sensitive or whatever. It means actually in our biggest times of comfort, I need to know that I'm safe enough to actually be able to fall into your arms, or you fall into mine, and then we kind of put the world to rights. We can relax, we can chill. We can not think about all the things that you have to be tough for. I'm safe enough to be in my feminine energy, for example, and the man is safe enough to rest his masculine energy. Am I on point with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
But the stage you're both talking about is probably 10 steps
ahead of the searching phase.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And when you're in that searching stage, and what I find quite interesting is because a lot of women will say, I want somebody who communicates well. when they find somebody who communicates well, sometimes it becomes a problem.
Okay.
Not always, but I find that quite interesting that when men do communicate, women do find that as a problem when it's a bit out of their comfort zone in terms of they're probably not used to it. And obviously, if you've not been around men that communicate and you're used to people being closed off, and when you find somebody who communicates, you're probably not used to it.
Yeah.
Even though that's what you want. But in reality, there's a lot of uncomfortableness there because you're not sure how to deal with it and handle it.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing as when people talk about being loved but don't know how to receive it. So, like you said, if people have never experienced what real solid communication looks like, in their vision of communication is, I want to be able to tell you that you need to leave the chicken out, and then you tell me if anything goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like little things like like literal communication, not actual communication. And to be fair, I think we both get that wrong sometimes. When two people are demanding those things without giving real context to what that communication looks like, I feel that that's where the disconnect happens.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work, and you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
There's no point lying to yourself about it and being somebody for somebody else that you're not comfortable with, because eventually the truth will come out eventually. You know, so you're best off just being honest from the get-go. And like for myself, I struggled with showing signs of affection. You know, I wasn't really hugged as a child. We're not really that type of family. We weren't really the huggers. We weren't really the tell each other that we love each other. It was more shown by actions.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm still a little bit uncomfortable with certain, with hugging.
Yeah.
I remember when I graduated, everybody's hugging everybody, and I'm just trying to give high fives.
Like, everyone's coming with the arms it's like
high fives, check people. And obviously you have to learn to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Because I know I've had not no choice, but
it's not always been available to me.
Yeah, it's not always been available to me. Yeah. So I'm quite honest and open with that. Sometimes hugging first isn't my go-to, but I'll let the person know from the get-go. I am willing to work on that, and I have been willing to work at that, and I've got a lot better with it, with showing signs of affection, because I know for some people that's what they need and want.
Yeah.
I wasn't unwilling. Sometimes a high five just ain't enough though.
It's true. It's like the whole like the PDA thing.
Yeah,
like,
I don't show. PDA is not me.
Public displays of affection.
Yeah.
But like even with that, like to want that straight away when you don't know the person or understand how they feel about it or what makes them comfortable and what doesn't make them comfortable is kind of a very big ask. It's like, and the thing is with men as well, is that, and forgive me, because women aren't a monolith. I know it doesn't mean everybody, but when it comes to things like that, right, some people ignore that men feel uncomfortable with stuff too. Like, being uncomfortable isn't exclusive to women, even though it's widely used with women, because essentially, you do have to speak up and say when you're uncomfortable in a situation to stop yourself from being in a compromising situation. So that's well and understood. However, when men feel uncomfortable, we can't always show that. And some of us don't have like the strength of character to actually just stand on that and just be like, you know what, the PDA thing kind of irks me a little bit. I have to warm into it. Like, I'm open. I want to be able to, but off rip, like you've got to give me a second. And then like you're kind of seen as the bad guy, or so you're trying to hide me, or do you know what I mean? Or so look at so and so, they hold hands all the time and you know what I mean, kiss in public, but you don't, so that means that you don't love me. No, it means that I am a little bit uncomfortable with that kind of thing because A, I've never really been exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
B, when people force me into it, it is literally off their whim and not necessarily mine. So I'm doing that to appease somebody else. It doesn't necessarily do anything for me, kind of thing.
Yeah. So the comfort levels are already.
So the comfort levels are all over the place. You're just like, so then when, you know, you kind of start to be strong enough to set a boundary over that kind of stuff, it's like, you know, PDA, yeah, we're going to skip that, swipe whatever, right or left, I don't know it, but...
Yeah, the thing is, though, in the dating scene, with boundaries and you saying what you're not willing to do, there's always somebody who is.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is always somebody who is more willing to do what others aren't. And that is the difficult side of this, you know, because if you really like that person, you would like to think that they would give you the opportunity to be able to warm in and build up to that. But that isn't always the case, because if you've asked somebody out, in your mind, you're probably thinking you're the only person that they're talking to. It's nice to think that, but in reality, the chances are probably not. Probably not. They are probably speaking to more than one person at one time and engaging in going out or phone calls or FaceTimes or however people are engaging. It's probably more than just you. You've got to hope that you're the favourite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what if you're not the favourite?
Yeah. And you know what? We've got fragile egos. Sometimes we can't.
Fragile egos.
we can't deal with knowing that we ain't the favourite, and then it's an instant put off instead of actually putting the work in to be the favourite. Because that's what you got to do, right?
You've got to put the work in. And again, for you to put the work, for myself to put the work in, I've got to really like this person and she's got to tick most of my boxes. How
many? So if we say, because I've had this conversation with a friend of mine who is getting married soon. She was always known as the person that had a really big list of things that if you didn't tick 99.9% of them, it weren't happening. And the one time that the list was disregarded and she went with her feelings and she went from a good place, everything just snowballed in a great way. And now marriage is on the horizon. So let's say, for example, you've got a list of 10. How many of those things would need to be ticked in order to be onto let's date and let's do something real?
Do you know what the difficult thing about that is that, let's say we're sticking with 10, that not all 10 are the same value.
Okay.
But I have some absolute no-nos that aren't for me. Right. And then there are some stuff that I'll be willing to work on.
Like intangibles and stuff.
Yeah, there's stuff that I'll be willing to do. Okay, cool. But there are certain no-nos that for me, at my life stage, that I'm just not willing to engage in. And that's nothing against the person that I may be interested in. It's just for me right now, it just wouldn't work. Because if I'm being honest, my next relationship is probably going to be extremely serious, which in hope would bring marriage.
Yeah.
I someday would like to get married. You ask a lot of people, they'll probably not think that about me. Yeah. But my parents have been married for years.
Yeah, you've got a stable household of married parents who've been married lovingly for years, longer than I've been alive.
Married, 33, I think.
Oh, 33. Okay.
33, but they've been together for...
That's what I'm saying, for years.
For years. It's so that's all I know. So, but I don't always give off that impression that I may want to get married. If I met the right person, I would. But that's not because they're the right person. It's because now I'm the right person to be able to make that step forward. Whereas before, when I probably have met people and good people in my past, I wasn't where I wanted to be. Now I'm at the doorstep of where I want to be. So my hope is that I will meet somebody. But if I'm being extremely honest, if they don't tick those boxes that are on the higher end of the no-no,
the majors and the minors,
then I'm willing to step away from that and just see it for what it is. And I know a lot of people potentially don't like that, because the way I see it is, I don't want to get into something knowing I'm not going to be happy.
Okay.
Because what is the point in that? Because it may be nice for the honeymoon period, but then when that voice comes back of, oh, that's not what you've always wanted, comes back a few years down the line, then what?
Do you think that in some ways, though, that kind of hinders you? Because I feel like with...
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't even need to finish that.
It does.
But yeah.
But I'm in a stage where it's like, I don't know if happy is the right word, but I'm in a stage in my life where I know if it's not right, I can't put myself into that, because I've waited a long time to get to this stage in life where I am now.
Yeah.
I've waited a long time, and finding the right partner would be a great step for me.
Yeah.
But if it's not right for me, then all I'm going to do is bring somebody else into a situation knowing I'm not going to be happy later on down the line. And the thing is, people, but you don't know if you won't be. But I know, because I've done the work on myself. I've looked into stuff. I've looked into what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not.
But that's the problem, isn't it? Because I've just had a light bulb moment. Forgive me. But that is the problem, isn't it? You've actually done the work on yourself. You've done a lot of trial and error. Mm-hmm. You've changed as a person because of the choices and journey you've made. But you can't guarantee that the person on the other line has done that. So then when you're talking to somebody and you are saying these things about yourself, you're being very honest, you're being very open, you're being very transparent, and then the other person might not have the right foundations to be able to receive that properly, you're then in a position where you could be inadvertently wasting your time and compromising that happiness that you want, because the other person just simply doesn't compute with how level or complete you are.
Yeah, to a certain extent. And I feel that when these types of conversations are had with a prospective partner, it can come off looking quite negative in terms of, oh, you think you're too good.
Preaching.
And the thing is, I actually don't. You know, there are times in my life where I will scrutinise and I'm not my biggest fan.
Yeah.
You know, there is no stretch of the imagination that I think I'm perfect. I don't. I've got to a stage in life where I know what would work for me and what wouldn't. You know, I've been in the shallow end of that pool for
the dating pool.
The longer than I'd like to. Yeah. Savina, my hands are wrinkly. That's all I'm in that pool right now. But you don't just take the crumbs because you're starving.
Yeah, and that's a lot of problems, because it's the same thing where people will only do what they've been enabled to do. Like if women look at you and they see your completeness and they are scared by that, but yet there's someone that doesn't care, who will not stand on business, and they're used to that, it's almost like you get a little bit of a bad rap for it. Yeah, like
you can't,
like you're almost like considered sassy for saying, you know what, nah, this isn't for me. Well, what are you? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, I'm at that stage now in my life where if it doesn't work for me,
you're just walking away.
Maybe not walk away, but I'm not giving it my all. But I'm also not. I would never lead somebody down a garden path by offering more than what I'm willing to.
Have you made that mistake already? Because I can see how that can happen early on. Like, isn't that like the basis of how people get into situationships?
Yeah, 100%.
They give more than they're able to give, and as a result, when it comes to crunch time and a decision almost has to be made, you can't make the decision that makes everybody happy, and then you end up going your separate ways, and then we end up talking about what you said before, losing potentially good people because you weren't ready.
Yeah, 100%. And I find that I have lied in my past.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not the only man or woman to say they've lied in their past.
Yeah.
But now I feel that where I want to be, I'm not going to lie about anything in terms of my intentions.
Your position, everything.
Yeah, you know, because not every person we meet means we're going to get into a deep, meaningful relationship. Sometimes I believe that some people are meant to be passing ships in the night.
Yeah.
I don't believe you are meant to be with every single woman that you find attractive. That's just not feasible.
Not realistic.
It's not realistic. It's not life. I believe that you are meant to meet certain people to learn and grow and keep it moving. It doesn't mean you have to hate people, but generally, when you lie to deceive, to gain, you are gonna potentially have more enemies than people on your side.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to believe that I don't have many enemies, but I can't say how people have perceived me from, you know, before when I did used to lie about,
Yeah.
you know, to try and gain. But right now I'm in that stage where I don't have to lie. And if it doesn't get me to where I want to be, I'm okay with stepping away. I'm okay with just keeping it cordial and having a new friend if that is the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, rather than an enemy.
Rather than
I don't
an
want
enemy,
no enemies,
yeah.
no.
But that's the thing. I feel like with me, right? If I was to jump into the dating pool, if something was to happen, you know, with me and mine, and we went our separate ways, like I know, or I think I know, that I would drown in this whole dating situation because me personally,
As in because you'd have too many options, or
good one, lad. Good one.
I'm at the shallow end.
He's at the shallow
He's
end.
talking about
I'm
driving.
talking about the deep end, innit? No. I'm saying as in like because like I'm a lover boy. I'm not afraid to say it. I am a lover boy. Like if I meet you and we click and the energies are right and the energies are reciprocal. Shout out to you, you know who you are for that one. I stole that bar off you. If the energies are reciprocal, then I have an affinity to kind of fall into that.
okay.
And as a result of that, I will then give you certain parts of me to kind of be like, you know what? I'm feeling this. Now, my true love language is acts of service. So now I'm going to be like, right, I'm not even going to need to ask what you need. We've spoken enough. I'm going to give you what you need. Because that's what you've been telling me this whole entire time. You don't even have to ask. Then next thing you know, I become a point of contact and it goes from there and goes from there. By that point, I've made myself somewhat emotionally available. But then where do I go next? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's dependent on the woman, though, isn't it? If
Yeah.
the person receiving, obviously, you're in a long-standing loving marriage.
Yeah.
So clearly, you pick wisely, and it's working for you. Whether being that emotionally invested straight away now in 2025 will get you the same results.
I don't think it would. That's why I'm saying I'd drown.
I don't know.
Because I would dive in. That's me. If I feel that your spirit is strong enough to be able to mesh well with mine, and there are too many commonalities, and because I'm honest when it comes to stuff like that, I will. If I'm going to talk to somebody, I'm going to tell you who I am, and then if you like that or if you're into that, then cool, we can continue. But if not, then have a nice day.
The only issue is where are you meeting this person? Because
That's another good
if
question.
you're, I don't know, you're online, let's say on one of the dating apps, and you're talking, you've matched, and the conversation doesn't start off like that. It's just like, hey, how are you? The back and forth, general. Do you meet up straight away? How many conversations are you having before? Because obviously, you're a busy man.
Yeah, this is true.
With kids that you are also got to bring to the table as well. And what if they've got kids and they're busy? And what if the conversation doesn't go that well straight away? So how?
And that's where I think that I would fall off because this is where my emotional availability and my actual presence might not be fit for a new relationship because my dedication is to my children. Inside, outside of marriage, it is my children. I've already said my happiness really hinges on how settled they are, how mature their minds are, and how much they need me. If they still need me to the level that they need me now, then cool, I can pursue another shred of my happiness or a percentage of my happiness. If they're really needy and stuff like that, then I'm afraid I can't give you everything that you actually need, because I do believe that in a relationship you have to give enough of yourself to that person and dedicate enough of your time to that person in order to make it fruitful and to actually enjoy each other's company, understand each other's flaws, and be able to kind of cohabit with each other the way that makes great cohesion.
100%, I agree with you. And that is what is extremely difficult in today's world, because a lot of people do have children, and me on the outside who doesn't, I always believe that if you do have kids, your kids should come first.
Yeah.
They should. Whether people do, that's on them. I just know that would be my mindset if I was to have kids. But that's why I find it difficult to date somebody with kids, because I know from the get-go, I'm not going to get 100% of that person. And then you add in busyness of work, life in general, all that other stuff. So then you may only get a small sliver of a percentage of what somebody has to offer. So then I think to myself, rightly or wrongly, should I be giving 100% to somebody who can only offer me 20%? And that's not going to change though, is it? No. Until a long, long time.
Yeah.
So then, again, I'd be waiting a long time. And that's why I feel that there's certain things, certain tangibles that I can't...
You can't rest on.
I can't rest on that. And because if I'm going to wait for you for your children to be old enough to get to a certain stage in life, I might as well continue to be single.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because like you said, everybody deserves to have or be the priority in their partner's life, at least at some stage.
At some stage.
And if, you don't have children, so it's one of them things where you are going to, when they're dealing with their children, you are going to be left... You're going to be left alone. You're going to be left alone, and it's going to be you figure it out, because my priorities are these kids. And I think that's what a lot of people miss with that intangible. They're thinking, well, actually, what? So a woman with the kids isn't good enough for you? It's like, no, that's not the case at all, because they are. You know plenty of them. Some are even in your family who are great mothers and amazing people, and are a fair catch for anybody who is happy to sit on the sidelines.
It's circumstantial. I feel that certain circumstances in life are different for everybody else. And if you're in a position to accept and have that, fair play to you. But I feel that it's one of those where you have to be honest about it from the get-go. There's no point, like I said before, there's no point me getting into it seriously with a woman that I really feel and really liking, and then all of a sudden something becomes a problem that I knew was going to be a problem from the get-go. Who would I be being fair to?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be being fair to anybody. And
you've said it before, but honesty is missing from these situations, because people are literally trying to... It's a rat race, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously I get why people lie about certain things, or why they choose to not be as honest about what they want or what their willingness to give up on. But it eventually will come out at some stage, and it will play out.
Yeah. And that's the other thing as well. Not many people are going to understand or appreciate that you're actually trying to stop people from wasting their time, or... protecting someone from an eventuality that is more imminent based on the things that you've rendered as your intangibles.
Listen, time is precious, and it's one of the things you won't get back. And I'm not saying people are out there wasting being together knowing that it's not what they want. You do you. I'd just say what's not right for me. But obviously, this is why I'm in the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
If my circumstances don't work for a potential partner, I'd expect them to say that. You know, you're too busy. You're too busy for me to make this work. I'd have to accept that. I'd have to either decide to not be as busy, or I have to say, you know what, I'm working towards my future and this is what I want.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't always match up with people. I feel that some people try and build a house roof first instead of the foundations.
I was just about to go there, because in today's world, building towards something seems to be the most unattractive prospect. Whereas before, it was kind of if I'm here from the foundations, then we can build something together. Where now people want actually the complete project here and now, which is kind of with everything. It's not just relationships, but while we're talking about that, like, people are trying to date what they consider as the complete, you know what I mean, complete package. And it's just like, well, it's kind of a little bit unrealistic, because you're entering that person's life when they've got everything figured out for themselves. How do you know that they've got room for you? Especially if you haven't figured out everything.
It's difficult, you know. There's people out there who are perceived to be that person. Their life is set and it's all tickety-boo for them until the other person brings in what they needs, and it just doesn't mesh up.
Yeah.
When you take away the sexual attraction side of it,
Yeah.
that's when you find out, well, actually, I might not fit into this person's world enough. But again, that's when you start from roof up rather than foundations.
I am going to advance the conversation to that, though, because I feel that we've spoken a lot about the practicality of dating, but we haven't spoken about the big issue here, which is sexual chemistry and stuff like that. Like, as a man, I know that especially at a younger age, we put sex in a very, very high pedestal at one point, especially when we don't know enough about ourselves to understand what we want, what we really want, and what we don't want, because sex has always been the thing that silences the voices in your head or in your body for a short period of time. Now, with kind of when you're more complete, as you've kind of expressed, like, how do you kind of curb those desires when it comes to that? Or is that just, does that play a part into the whole honesty prospect?
Sexual discipline as a man in this day and age
It's a myth, isn't it?
and it's something that you have to work on, you know, because most men will sleep with any woman, you know, and it's not, is that a bad thing? Is it, you know, you have to get to a stage in life where you're able to say, you know what, there's certain things that's not for me. And I feel that a lot of people get it twisted. A lot of people have sex, but then it won't go any further.
Yeah.
And then potentially somebody is left wanting more. And then when it goes to a certain extent of sexual desires, I know in my life where I've been happy to just stay there.
Yeah.
And I've just stayed there. And the other person has wanted more than that. But I was happy to just stay there.
Just stay there, yeah.
But because we didn't have this conversation from the get-go, somebody ends up not being happy, and that's where you decide to either keep it amicable, or you try and lie to convince, to deceive, to gain again, or you part ways. And I feel that you have to be honest with it. You have to be honest with your intentions from the get-go, because some people might just say, you know what, I'm in that stage, I'm cool with that. If not, you know what, it's not for me, let's keep it moving.
Yeah. In your honest opinion, though, like, or more your professional opinion, when it comes to, you know, when people want more, is it too bad to say that actually, like, it's easy for men to kind of stay there, like you said, and it's more easy for women to kind of want more in those situations, or can it happen both ways?
I think it does depend on your life, where you are, at what stage in life you are.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's men who will just gladly have sex with their partner and keep it there. That's it. The partner wants more. She's ready to keep it moving and wants more. They want not just the dating aspects, but they want more from that just person. That. Yeah. Just that person. And if you're not honest with it, somebody's not going to be happy. But there is certainly a reason why a man won't move further on. And I've been in that stage where I know from the get-go
what that is.
Not what it is, but like I know in myself it's not going to go any further.
Right.
And I've just, like I said, I've just stayed.
You've gone through the motions and you've stayed within that sexual contact.
Yeah, because that was comfortable for me.
For you, yeah.
It was comfortable for me and I was happy there.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work for the other person, then it's not gonna work. It's not until you're ready to make that move and go forward. But sometimes we get into situations with people that you know it's not going to go any further.
Yeah, but you've made that physical connection, and then it's hard to break for whatever reason, and then you kind of end up learning in real time like why this shouldn't have happened in the first place, I suppose.
And sometimes men are selfish.
Yeah.
I've been a selfish man, and you hold women there knowing it's not going to go any further and it's not fair. So it's better to step back and allow the butterfly to keep going and be free and be where they want to be. But sometimes you have to be in such a place in life to have that conversation with yourself, because generally, who wants to give up?
I can imagine that's hard, and there's a fair few people that wrestle with that. Like,
I bet people are watching this thinking, so why wouldn't you just be with that person? And there is clearly a reason why most men decide that past the sexual attraction, it's not for them.
Yeah.
What that reason is for each person,
it's always going to vary and it's always going to be different.
But there is a reason why they haven't decided to go further.
Or people know the reason, but it's tough to accept. And like you said, when they're in that mode, that person who wants more is kind of happy to get what they get from you, then not have anything at all, kind of thing.
But then you have to ask, what's driving the ship there? Your pride and ego.
Right.
I know that does come into play a lot, because when you've been with somebody and you now see them moving on with somebody else, your pride and ego is hurt. Well, that could have been me, But no, you didn't want them.
Yeah.
So why should that have been you? That person's happy now. They've moved on. They're married. They've got a family, or whatever direction their life is. But you have to really break down the why for yourself. Why that wasn't for you. If you was happy.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, for me now, I'm in that stage where, because I've done that, I broke down the why that didn't work out for me, and I've, unfortunately, like I said, I've let people pass, or people have let me pass. Don't let this conversation have you thinking that I've just let people pass. There's women who have let me go, because it's not right for them, and that does hurt. It does. Dent your ego. It does.
Especially when you thought you had it like that. Yeah. Then it's like, actually, it's
not that.
It's not like they found the power to break away. And it's like when a woman's fed up, I suppose, there's no coming back from it.
There is no matter amount of messages, phone calls. When it's gone,
it's over.
Generally, it's gone.
Yeah, it's over.
It's very rare that you get that comeback.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Nah, but I guess that kind of closes our conversation for this particular episode. But what I want to try and do for the next one is I want to try and get a female guest here to speak on the other side of this a little bit more in depth. And on top of that, I want to kind of go into the next phase. So we've kind of covered dating to a certain aspect, but it's how we show up in relationships after that is what I really want to try and get into. So yeah, we will definitely get into that one at some point, and we'll be firmly in our bag for that.
just before you do your close, if there are any comments and you feel that I've been wrong on any stage, obviously this isn't a right or wrong thing. Everybody's different. But if you feel that there are parts in your own dating life where things have happened for yourself, or feel free to comment.
Please
add a comment to this, because I don't feel I'm right about everything. I'm not perfect, and I feel that's what is good when you're on your journey, is that you're willing to take accountability and accept other people's views on certain situations. And dating is definitely one where everybody will have a different view.
Everyone has a different opinion. Everybody has a different vibe to it. I guess what we're trying to do here is that by having a normal conversation about the pitfalls of dating, instead of the face value, alpha male, manosphere, who pays for dates.
Yeah,
it's boring. It's boring.
Obviously, it's conversations that we do need to have in a certain context, but
it doesn't advance the conversation.
It doesn't advance.
We don't get anywhere, and especially it negates a very large community of people that genuinely don't care about that stuff, who would happily go on a date, walk in a park, talk, just having a good conversation to actually get a gauge of who you are. Because that is sometimes when you do things like, oh yeah, I want you to take me to an amazing dinner experience, and you spend more time, taking pictures of the plate and taking in the ambience, it's a big distraction from what you're actually there for. You are really there to get to know somebody. You're there to help that person feel comfortable in your presence, so that therefore you can advance a little bit more and then kind of discuss what the possibilities of the future start to look like.
100%. Don't get me wrong. I do feel there's a time and a place for that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be date one to really get to know people before that stage and let them know you.
Yeah.
And get to that point where, you know what? Yeah, let's go away for the weekend and spend X, Y, and Z. Let's go on holiday. Let's do that. Obviously, these things take time. A lot of people, I feel, have it in reverse and do that first to get the bag, and then it doesn't end up being what they perceived it to be. Or maybe it is that's what you want. Obviously, your intentions are your intentions. You do what is right for you. I guess people are a bit selfish when it comes to certain points. But like you said, in terms of advancing the conversation and taking it away from that, last question, a lot of people ask me, why haven't you got a girlfriend right now? Because they see me doing a lot of stuff, obviously work-wise, and how I've progressed as a person.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, it's not as easy as just getting a girlfriend.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
Like I said, if the foundations aren't right, you would just be jumping from partner to partner, and that is something that I don't want to be doing.
It's true. That's the difference between, because like you said, you could just go on the phone in a week, could be in a whole situation. However, if you've not done the due diligence to know whether it's the right one, then it's going to be short-lived, and you're at that stage in your life where you don't want it to be short-lived. You want the real thing. So yeah, like I'm going to stand on my principles until I'm comfortable enough to be in the situation I want to be, or if my next advancement in life changes one of those intangibles on the list, then therefore it kind of broadens the pool a little bit more. But it has to happen when it happens. So,
and there's no rush for myself. Or is there? No, there's no rush. There's no rush. And obviously we're just here. Until then, I'm here living, enjoying life.
Yeah.
I'm inside, just so everyone knows right
He's
now.
outside, really. But once again, thank you very much for tuning in. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. All the links will be in our bios, and it will be printed on the screen when I point like this. They're all there. Our handles, Hesgram for me, Better's 10 and A to B therapy for him, and also our YouTube and our links. But once again, thank you very much. We are the Mindful Men. Oh, and before I say out, I want to say a special thank you to our producer and our engineer and our extraordinary videographer who actually that is the second time we've heard her voice in one episode. That means now she's part of the family.
Yes.
That means that she's part of the family. But if she wants to put credits underneath here like this, then she's more than welcome. She has unlimited ad space on there because she's responsible for all the magic. So if you want to hear more from her, put it in the comments and hashtag sparkles, please. But no, thank you very much again. And, you know, once again, I feel like we've unlearned something and relearned something else, and we've made ourselves better. So, you know, without further ado,
see you later, guys.
See you later, and thank you very much for tuning in.